The Holy Spirit, because it was not me, okay? The Holy Spirit just negotiated almost $300 off of my monthly expenses. I don't know what gave me this idea, okay? But I knew that the guy who owns the place I live at is also an insurance agent. And I was like, hey, like I have these many things that I insure in a month. And I was wondering if you would want to maybe give me a quote for what you would charge through your company. Because let's just face it, my current company, not the greatest. So that was $200 off. And then I started talking about like, I'm now responsible for covering some damages that somebody else did when they left. And I was like, look, like I will definitely pay that. But do you think that you could consider lowering the rent? Because I have been looking around and there are other units just like mine that are like $100 to $150 cheaper per month. And those places, you don't even have to mow the lawn or anything. And he's like, not only will I review the rent amount, but I'm also going to go after the guy that made the damage through like a small claims court, I assume. And leave me alone about it so that I'm just not even responsible for it. Which, if you know anything about the way that my lease was signed and whatnot, I am responsible for what happened because I'm the person on the lease, and I released this guy from the lease, and then I gave him back his deposit, which is a whole another story. But he's gonna review it, and he is like the coolest guy ever, okay? Like ever. I met the coolest guy today, and he was just all about like teaching you all the different like things the insurance covers, and just an amazing guy. And I don't know, like the Holy Spirit just gave me this idea because I had tried to go through the management company, but they were garbage. But I didn't realize that I was being overcharged on insurance so much in a month, and now I'm a millionaire. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Amen. I'm really sorry that I did bypass the management company. I just feel like I tried to work with them for a couple of years and I got nothing from them. And he's like, no, rules are just a starting point or something, is what that guy said. I was like, oh, what guy are you talking about? And he's like, oh, it's this like treasure guy. And he's like, did you ever hear about the treasure? And I was like, Forest Fence treasure? And I started, reciting the poem because I know it by heart. And he's like, you looked for the treasure too? And I was like, yeah, did you? He's like, well, there's a new one. And I was like, there is? Tell me everything about that. And he totally did, which is cool. I'm not gonna go looking for no treasure on my own because I will die. Here's the firefighter guy that always has the perfect lawn. Must be nice. They never turned our water on time, so now we just have straw. So, he's like, yeah, the new, it's on Netflix, like you can watch the series about the new treasure, because it has some of the old pieces from the previous treasure that Forrest Fenn had hidden. And then we're both reciting the Forrest Fenn poem to each other at the same time. Like we're like saying an anthem to a country that we have allegiance to. You just can't. The Lord's ways are incredible. I wrote this short story when I was in like second grade, and I got like a little award, which was a strange award, by the way. It was like this lamp with a teddy bear on it. But it was like the younger kids writing competition, and I wrote a story that was called like The World is a Handkerchief, which is like a Spanish term for the world is small, and yeah, like things always come back around kind of thing. It's so true, man, because it's like you live life and you think like, oh, it's just another day, but if you're doing the right thing for a long period of time, it comes back. Like my credit is absolutely outstanding, even though my ex completely ruined it. And I mean, I've been taking care of this place for the last 4.5 years, which that was also a God thing, because when I got kicked out of my home, even though somebody had many different places where they could have gone so that I could have had a place to stay, but instead I just got kicked out of my home. by force. And I could not find a place. I had like applied for everywhere I could, but then my credit was shot. I didn't have any money, and I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it because everywhere was expensive. No one would even get back to me. And suddenly I just found on Craigslist, like, here is this room in like a house with its own bathroom, and it's 2 college kids, and we hate partiers. I was like, it's perfect. And when I got there, they're like, well, you know, like, the ex-roommate just kind of left, and so we don't need you to pay a deposit. All we need you to do is just to pay for the full month, to pay us back because we paid for it. And oh no, I'm going this way. So it just worked out that this place happens to be 8 minutes from my work, and that ever since then I've been doing my best to take care of it. And every time like the college kids leave, it's the same lease, and you just like let them leave. And then I've been paying out these deposits because I feel terrible, like people pay a deposit and then they come out like with no deposit on the other end because other people are still staying. And so I was like, I just feel like it's wrong to not give them their money back, because there's now this huge pool of money that's just there, which who knows how much is actually going to come back to me in the end, but whatever. I'm just trying to do the right thing. And so with like the new set of roommates that I have, they've both kind of paid me back what I paid back the people who left. And so I've kept them out of the horrible pattern of just money being lost. So satisfying and so freeing. And I am just incredibly humbled because, well, first of all, because I don't know how to park, and it's very embarrassing for people to watch this. But second of all, because like this guy, he was just so, I don't know, like he was just such a good person in general. But he just really took the time to explain to me, like, okay, well, this is what this means, this is what this means. And it's like, you know, when I used to call my old insurance, what she would say to me, I'm like, hey, I have a question about this thing. And she'd be like, you're SOL. I'm like, what? She's like, you're SOL. You don't have insurance for that. It's going to be 30 days until I can kick in. I was like, okay. But he just took the time. He explained all these things, like how a condo is insured and Studson, and how he actually called the condo association down there to see how much they're actually insurance on the outside part, so that I didn't have to overpay on the inside part, which apparently I was. And not only was I, but also it wasn't covering like a huge amount of what the damages could be if like a fire or something happens. Which, first of all, America, oh my gosh, like insurance, I understand that it's a big problem and that apparently it's a huge controversial issue right now because of California. But America, wow, you can insure things. Like, someone please enlighten me, because I don't recall anything being insured in Colombia. And I know I was at like 4-year-old when I lived there, but I think shit just kind of went wrong. Forgive my French. But when my dad passed away, I don't recall any insurance covering anything. His tire just kind of blew up and he was gone, you know? These ways always are for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. And yeah, Romans 8:28 all the way. Today has been a very fruitful and beautiful day. And I just see God's hand in all of it. And him just, it was humiliating to not be able to find a place to live, because I expected I will always have a home, you know, after you like, whatever. Why am I crying? I don't even care about that guy. It's not the point. But it's just beautiful that at first it was like, well, this is the best I can do. I can find a freaking room. Which, don't get me wrong, like my room is amazing. It's way nicer than anything I've ever gotten to live in. And, you know, like people in Colombia live like under a cardboard box on the side of a freaking mountain cliff, with like some like plantain like leaves on top of their roof. But it was like, oh well, like it feels like a downgrade, you know, to like not have your own place, and now you're like sharing with these strangers. And granted, I've always been so incredibly blessed with my roommates and my tenants for the last 5 years. It is home. How you can make a place home. and how a place that you thought would be home turns out to just be a very empty, sad, and dark place to stay. When we built the house, it was like, everything we wanted. Like, we designed everything down to like whatever, like the tile and all these things, and it's like you think, hey, this is gonna be my dream home and I'm gonna live in it. But inside it was this horrible place, and I never wanted to go home, and all I could do was like find extra things to do in town so I wouldn't have to go home. And it turned out that because I was doing that, I ended up finding so many new beautiful things, and to be able to make myself useful in ways that I never thought I could. Small ways but impactful ways, which is so Saint Therese too. Little things with great love, and it's what I do every day. I try to do little things with great love, and then sometimes I do really big stupid things out of a lot of anger. But for the last 4 years, there's been so much less anger and so much more joy and peace, and I couldn't think of a better life. I'm gonna start crying because I'm so happy, and I have to stop. But I really am very blessed and thankful for all the hardships that the Lord has put me through to help me become a better person, which makes you be able to help and love people so much more than you ever thought yourself capable of. And he's not getting back to me, so I don't know what he needs, but we'll see. Oh, perfect. Okay, that was my report about that.